Hi folks, Summer Speaker here. I'm the queer anarchist that caused a ruckus at Albuquerque Pride's Candlelight Vigil last night after the trans march. I caused trouble at the trans march as well, as you would expect from a queer anarchist. I got peace policed for walking a little bit past the line, a little bit into the road. Everyone came and told me I had to get back on the line, that was being violent, to keep it peaceful. Those inches of concrete or asphalt, just so important. People feel so bad, somebody goes out of line, murders all that asphalt. So that was during the trans march. So by the time we got to Morningside Park and the trans march, so the trans march met up with the Albuquerque Pride Candlelight Vigil, I was already enraged. So when the event announcer said, get or start feeling patriotic or something to that effect, I was in no mood to hold back. I shouted, "Death to patriotism." The announcer told me something along the lines of, "Take that to Saudi Arabia," and I continued. And so then, when the U.S. Pledge of Allegiance and national anthem began, I shouted, "Death to the United States, death to imperialism, death to colonialism," and so on. Unsurprisingly, this offended all the homonationalists at the event, all the LGBT, maybe Q folks who support nationalism, support empire, support bashing queers, in the broad sense of queers as the folks who deviate from the norm, who speak against the dominant power structures and against the status quo. And in that moment, that's who I was. I was queered in that moment as an opponent of U.S. nationalism, as an anarchist speaking out, disrupting their celebration of community and exclusion and imperialism and colonialism and so on. So that's how I'm using the term homonationalism and homonationalists. So a few of these homonationalists came up, confronted me, threatened me, got in my personal space, touched me, struggled with me over the sign, tore the sign off of its handle, though I luckily was able to fix that. So it was a physical confrontation. No one was hurt as far as I know, because I'm not actually as violent and bloodthirsty as they say I am. I prefer not to harm feeling beings. Don't enjoy being harmed myself, so don't want to put too much out of that too much of that out in the world. Though I do understand why folks bash back and take that perspective. But in this case, it was the homonationalists, the normative LGBT folks, who were doing the queer bashing or threatening to do the queer bashing on me. So both of them, or at least two people, said they were going to knock me out, beat me up, demanded that I leave for opposing U.S. nationalism. So I find this a telling example of how homonationalism works, how the mainstream LGBTQ movement works. It's still about bashing queers. It's just that queers are a little bit different. The figuration of what makes you queer in the mainstream LGBT movement involves going against a different set of norms from dominant straight society. But other than that, there are lots of similarities, and the mainstream movement and dominant straight society align when it comes to U.S. nationalism, celebration of the U.S. military, exclusion of the non-citizen, of the other. So it confirmed everything I already know about the mainstream movement and about Albuquerque Pride. So no surprises there. But I want folks to know, and I want this to intensify the struggle against assimilation, against homonationalism. I want to see more and more queer anarchism. so that's what's happened. I'm gonna be at Pride at on Saturday. Most likely get into some trouble there as well with the same sign, and I've got some queer anarchist zines that I'll be giving out as well. So hope to see some folks there. Death to imperialism, death to the United States, death to all hierarchy, oppression, and domination. That's what queerness is.